Everyone, please raise your left hand and put your right hand over your heart. And repeat after me. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the band.
To the band.
Of Mr. Kraft.
Of Mr. Kraft.
And will not fight him.
And will not fight him.
For creative control.
For creative control.
And will defer to him on all issues related to the musical direction of the band, this podcast, and any other further branding decisions of the show.
And will defer to him on all decisions.
Hi, welcome to Bob Squad Movie Night. I'm your host and master of ceremony, Tanner Richard Kraft, and with me I have...
Hi, I'm Jagger of the Rolling
I'm a fat loser and I have body odor.
That's my problem. Yes, and if you can't tell by the little Pledge of Allegiance that we did, we're talking about a very special film to me, our second Richard Linklater movie on this show, and my favorite Richard Linklater movie, who, as I've said before, is my favorite director, School of Rock, starring Jack Black, Joan Cusack, and a bunch of children.
I can sing.
All right, Summer, belt it.
Memory all alone in the moonlight.
Stop. Okay.
But before we get into our thoughts on School of Rock, your favorite Jack Black movie is the opening warm-up question. Austin, we'll start with you.
Alright, full disclosure here, as they say at the banks. In my travels as a master of cinema, I have not actually seen, per se, a couple of Jack Black films that may or may not be important milestones of his bodacious career. High Fidelity, that movie by the gay Daniel Day-Lewis laundromat guy, and this is hard for me to say because I used to be a huge Bernie guy back in 2016, but I haven't actually seen the movie Bernie. But in fairness to me, I missed both of those because I had a big lunch date with a serious podcast executive on the day that both of those were being screened as a one-time only double bill at the Jack Black film series in Panavision 70mm.
You're a maniac. I swear to God, if you tore this thing, it's vintage, and I will sock your nose. You'll pay big.
But other than those two, I own the Criterion box set of like every other Jack Black movie. And as with any choice I make in this tormented existence, there is a super foreboding crossroads. Do I choose a movie where Jack Black is the centerpiece? Or do I choose the best movie Jack Black happened to be in? And the answer is psych! I'm not choosing Kung Fu Panda or Tropic Thunder. I'm going with King of the Kongs, the Fellowship of the Monkey.
I've come into possession of a map. The sole surviving record of an uncharted island. A place that was thought to exist only in myth. Will there be boobies? Boobies?
Now I'm 100% sure that astute cinephile types will immediately say, what the f***, Austin? Because that is by no means a Jack Black vehicle like, say, Nacho Libre or the Academy Award adjacent Shallow Hal. But it is an insane remake of one of the most famous movies of all time. And Jack Black plays a prominent role in getting everybody to the secret of Monkey Island. He was so important that they gave him the final line of the movie. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Kong defeated, crowds gathering around his big monkey corpse, and Jack Black looks down and says, "That monkey was the best of us." I cry every single time.
He sits down and goes, "That monkey was the best of us."
Yeah,
what was his ultimate goal?
His ultimate goal was to get to heaven.
He wanted to bring her with him to heaven.
He wanted to bring her. He's like, "I'm gonna bring you here with me to heaven."
Because guess what? I'm the son of God.
I'm the son of God.
Like a guy online to get coffee, and he's like,
"Oh my word!" In heaven,
yeah, Starbucks, they're everywhere.
I choose all the f***ing things you can pull.
To swat them.
He climbs up the Empire State Building to go. He's got nowhere else to go. And then he starts climbing, levitating up. Invisible.
He starts climbing
invisible. Yeah.
He starts climbing the Empire State Building and it's like, he's got nowhere else to go, and then he keeps going. Starbucks, they're everywhere. Okay, his goal was to get to heaven and take her with me.
Oh my God, Eddie Murphy floats away.
Eddie Murphy floats away. Referencing any of the animated PMI videos will just fucking short circuit me. All right, great answer. Jack Black and King Kong. Fun fact, he actually based his performance in that movie off of Orson Welles, from what I understand.
Ah, the French champagne.
So,
Very cool.
Joe, what the is your favorite Jack Black movie?
Like Austin was saying, it's like there's a lot of movies that Jack Black has been in, and he's been in really small roles, he's been in prominent roles, he's been in lead roles. And when it came to making my decision, I was like, okay, it's got to be something that he doesn't cameo in, so Mars Attacks and Demolition Man, throw those out the window. It has to be something where it's more prominent. So The Never-Ending Story 3 counts, but what kind of a monster would pick that movie? So I was like, okay, well, I've narrowed it down to about 3. I'm not gonna say School of Rock, because that's just double jeopardy.
No!
And I'm not gonna say another movie, because I'm pretty sure Tanner is going to take that one.
You're probably correct.
So that narrowed it down just to one movie. The Eli Roth directed The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Not a lot of people talk about this one, which kind of sucks, because this is actually a really solid horror movie, like for kids.
Am I gonna have to defeat an evil spirit one day?
Oh, don't worry, not for a long, long time. You're perfectly safe.
Eli Roth went and made an 80s like horror movie for children, kind of like a Gremlins, and he had Jack Black in a honestly more stoic role than we've ever really seen him in. Like, he's actually taking the role relatively serious. He pulls back on the goof a little bit. I mean, it's still there, because, I mean, it's Jack Black. You gotta have the goof, but it's like he's taking the role pretty seriously, and it's actually not a terrible performance he's given.
What smells of rancid sulfur?
Bad kitty!
And he's working with all of these high caliber actors too. He's got Kyle MacLachlan as the villain. He's got Cate Blanchett in there. It's a solid movie. And with Halloween coming up, I strongly recommend giving that one a watch.
I'm the son of God. No.
Oh my God.
Solid pick. I think a big reason why people don't talk about that one enough is because its marketing makes it look indistinguishable from the Goosebumps movies.
That's fair. The marketing really did not do that movie justice.
It looks like another Goosebumps movie. As Joe was alluding to earlier, my pick for my favorite Jack Black movie is Nacho Libre. Is that correct, Joe?
Correct, yes.
That is my answer for favorite Jack Black movie. Aside from the one we're talking about today, obviously, but Nacho Libre is, first off, better than Napoleon Dynamite. Just putting that right out there. I want to get the haters commenting in my comment section already, because Napoleon Dynamite is considered a classic, while who the cares about Nacho Libre aside from me?
I care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I care tremendously.
Get that coming out of my face!
And also, every small Mexican restaurant I've been to has like a Nacho Wednesday, and they advertise it using Jack Black.
Hell yeah.
It's a very funny movie. It's so like directly tied to what my exact sense of humor is, which is that like sort of off-kilter, like it's absurdism, that's the word. I'm looking for absurdism, that's the word. Like the whole bit where he's told to like go climb a mountain and eat some eagle's eggs is like hilarious, and he's like,
those eggs were a lie, Steven. A lie! They give me no nutrients!
or like his when he's showing off his ass. He's like posing in his new clothes, and then he's like, that monkey was the best of us. I love Nacho Libre, not just because of how funny it is, but because of how heartwarming it is.
But beneath the clothes, we find a man. And beneath the man, we find his nucleus.
There are few moments in movies history where I want to get up and fight just as much as the main character does. Like I do at the climax of Nacho Libre, when the guy with the golden mask just absolutely, literally has his foot to Nacho's neck, and it all seems over, and then the music slows down, and that song, I am. Love that song. And then like the nun and all of the kids like come up to support him, and he like gets this burst of strength, and then he just starts kicking ass. And then when the eagle call comes back, and he like just dives out, and literally the way that it's shot, it looks like he like flies 20 feet. You'll believe a man can fly should have been the tagline of Nacho Libre instead of Superman the movie. Nacho Libre, that's my answer. Even if I did count today's movie, I think Nacho Libre might still be my answer. But a lot of the time I would also answer with today's movie as my favorite Jack Black movie. That's right, School of Rock, released in 2003. Richard Linklater's attempt at a kid's film, even though it's rated PG-13.
I've got a hangover. Who knows what that means?
Doesn't that mean you're drunk?
No. It means I was drunk yesterday.
Dude, you got a disease.
which is kind of weird because I don't find much of the content all that objectionable. So School of Rock, what are our overall thoughts on it? We'll start with Joe.
You mentioned that this movie was PG-13. That's honestly why my mom would not take me to go see this in the theater, despite being like, but they advertised it on Cartoon Network, Mom! But then again, they also advertised Without a Paddle on Nickelodeon and the Daredevil movie, and we saw the Daredevil movie. We regret that.
I'm so sorry, Joe.
Y'all act like you never seen a white person before.
But School of Rock, this is a staple of my childhood. I think I was around the age that the kids in this movie were. I was like maybe like 10 or 11 when I saw this for the first time. And it's such a good movie on like all fronts. It's like, it's structured really well. It goes through like the motions in like a fun and interesting kind of like little way.
I'm gonna form my own band, and we are gonna start a revolution, okay? And you're gonna be a funny little footnote on my epic ass.
Every single character, particularly the kids, those kids are brimming with personality. If one of them is a standout, may this kid rest in peace, the kid that plays Freddy, he stands out from the crowd like big time.
Who's gonna tell me off?
Shut the hell up, Schneebly.
That's it, Freddy.
Kevin Clark did a great job.
He died?
He died 2 years ago.
He got hit by a car on a bike. Well, I mean, the car wasn't on the bike, he was on the bike, but he got hit and died.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What the f?
I'm sorry you had to find out like this.
That kid was the best of us.
Oh my god, he wrapped it around! Let's be honest, the heart and soul of this damn movie is Jack Black, who is just brimming with charisma.
Can't you see that I am not afraid? Shaka-ka-ka. Lawrence is good at piano.
The entire if his character does not work, the movie does not work. You have to be on this guy's side, even though he does some very morally questionable things throughout. Honestly, this movie probably would not get made. It would get canceled in 2023. For instance, Man Oh Man, Jack Black Calls Freddy Spazzy McGee. Dewey Finn would get canceled in 2023.
Kicked off Twitter immediately.
He should have been canceled in 2003. He did like a massive crime. It's a miracle he didn't get arrested.
I was gonna say, he got off lucky.
And no, I'm not a licensed teacher, but I have been touched by your kids. And I'm pretty sure I've touched them.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah, he committed multiple crimes.
I count at least 5 felonies.
You understand everyone's perspective in it. That's just how good the writing is. If most of it's even in the script, knowing Linklater, he probably improvised a lot of it. But yeah, a movie good. I want to save a lot of this for general discussion because I'm just f***ing rambling at this point. Back to you, Tanner.
Austin, you're the best of us. Go.
Longtime listeners of the show might remember that when I was 13, I went totally f***ing rogue and started watching every X-rated movie I could get my grubby little hands on. It was like a little kid breaking into the candy store, except the candy was really artsy porn and the store was a renting website. But I too once was mortal. Before my great spiritual awakening, there was a time when I too was a sweet, innocent child, and PG-13 movies felt like a super big deal. One time, when I had pneumonia, I stayed up late watching Batman Forever with my older brother, and it felt like the ultimate betrayal of my parents, like I was turning to a life of crime. School of Rock came out when I was 9, back in the good old days where I would get grounded for trying to watch Scary Movie 3, and it's the wildest thing. It never struck me as a PG-13 movie back then. For the longest time, I thought School of Rock was produced by Nickelodeon, and I thought it was a PG-rated movie tailored for 9-year-olds just like me.
This is an ancient technique. It's called power stance. That's it. Power stance. You own the universe. Now give me an E chord. Just go.
I loved this movie as a kid. Little side note, I heard from this channel called The Beat Goes On that School of Rock really almost nailed that PG rating, but got tipped over the line because of that lone reference to crack cocaine. So it's like The King's Speech or Amadeus, where it's like totally fine for kids except one scene.
Miss Lemon said she heard music coming from the classroom.
Uh-oh. You know what? Miss Lemons must be on crack, right, kids?
But it always felt like a really ace kids movie to me more than anything kind of subversive or adult. I think one of the reasons was because when this came out in 2003, the idea of like rebelling through the power of rock was totally played out. I mean, unless your parents were fundamentalists or something, but mine weren't. My parents loved rock music, and they weren't hardcore individualists or punks or anything. They were totally normal people who lived in the suburbs of Missouri. If you wanted to rebel, you listened to like metal or gangster rap. Rock and roll had turned into the Saturday morning cartoon version of rebellion. So at the end of the day, this movie felt like it was telling you to like be yourself and don't be a square. But its definition of how to resist becoming a square was really mild and kind of socially acceptable. Like, my parents didn't give a shit when I started buying Led Zeppelin t-shirts and listening to Pink Floyd, but I guess that's why it was set at a private school. I was already in a rock and roll friendly environment, so for me, this was kind of preaching to the choir.
And there used to be a way to stick it to the man. It was called rock and roll. But guess what? The man ruined that too with a little thing called MTV!
But I guess I should be grateful to School of Rock and rock music in general for giving me a way to feel like a rebel in a fashion that didn't actually piss off my parents. It bought them an extra 4 years of peace before the f***ing floodgates opened. But you know, all that high concept shit aside, it's all about JB's energy, his performance, and even today, watching him dance around and totally nail his line deliveries just radiates early 2000s energy.
Scratching ass surviving, good time.
Could you stop that, please?
Yeah.
Just the unapologetic silliness of it takes me back, makes me want to buy a Razor scooter and play some Sega Dreamcast. That's what I wanted to say in a weird little nutshell. Basically, all the jokes still land. I think this movie should be mandatory viewing for children around the age of 10. It was a stupendous gift getting to be nostalgic, watching Jack Black's shtick from the height of his comedy superpowers.
But the legend of the rent was way past due.
Typical Linklater. It's a classic movie with a really friendly aura.
All great stuff. I agree completely. And yeah, that makes sense. It probably would be the reference to crack cocaine that gave it that extra push to PG-13. Where to begin? Obviously, the star of the show here is Jack Black, who is a supremely talented actor, but also a supremely talented musician. He's a pretty damn good singer and a pretty darn good guitar player. There are so many line deliveries in here that are just so perfect.
So let's just keep it on the down low, shall we?
Can we tell our parents?
No! Just trust me, they don't want to know anything about this. Keep it zipped.
But the entire rest of the cast is also fantastic, especially Joan Cusack. I feel like Joan Cusack does not get her flowers enough for this movie.
Oh man, I would love to take the kids to a concert.
Concert?
Yeah.
I like that the screenwriter of this movie cast himself as the schwarmy, pathetic roommate.
Wait, he wrote this? Ned Schneebly wrote this?
Yeah, that's Mike White.
Huh.
What's happening, officer?
Apparently that man is not Ned Schneebly.
Yeah, he's not even a teacher.
You called the cops?
She did. She got it out of me. Sorry.
Also the creator of The White Lotus, that TV show that like won 72 Emmys.
My sister loves that show!
Yep, same writer.
It's that show with Sydney Sweeney and Alexander Daddario.
Oh, if that's blowing your mind, wait until I tell you what another cast member of this movie's up to nowadays in general discussion. Just you wait.
Oh boy.
He's also great in it. Sarah Silverman plays the perfect, I don't want to say a word here.
You gotta mouth it like the principal did.
Overbearing, a little too much. She's so good in it, and I find her really funny. 2003 was a different time considering her like, yeah, $650 a week, and I'm like, that's like what I make. For his paycheck, it's $650 a week as that sub. More than just how funny this movie is, I like the moments where he genuinely inspires those students and makes them be better people. There's that one part of the movie where the, Tamika? Is that her name? Where Tamika talks about, oh, I don't think I can go up there, I'm fat. And Jack Black's like, who cares? I still see that posted around to this day. Obviously, that's a very important message to hear nowadays. But in 2003, when heroin chic was the in-look amongst famous women, that was, I think, an especially important message for young girls to hear.
You heard of Aretha Franklin, right? Okay, she's a big lady, but when she starts singing, She blows people's minds. Everybody wants to party with Aretha.
And that scene, I think, still resonates to this day because, you know, skinny culture, fat phobia culture is still a thing, but it was especially bad in the mid-2000s. Us younger members of the audience may not know this. Throw up a photo of Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey. The media was regularly calling those women fat.
Throw up any photo of Misha Barton from the OC, like her especially.
Literally, like as bad as it is now, it was like especially bad then. So to see that in a movie from that era, I think it's very empowering and very cool to see.
Because I'm sexy and chubby, man.
Why aren't you on a diet?
Because I like to eat. Is that such a crime?
And also, the music kicks ass. I'm very upset that the song Zach wrote isn't like on Spotify or anything because I really want to listen to it. It's a really good song. There's a recording of it from the original Broadway show that came out like in 2015, but it's not the same. There's no Jack Black.
That noise.
All the music in general is really good. Even the No Vacancy songs we happen to hear aren't actually that awful.
They're a good band. I like how at the end they come back and they sound like Creed.
I don't want to hang out with a bunch of wannabe corporate sellouts.
3 weeks later.
It's just so funny. He calls them sellouts, and then they sound like the f***ing Dave Matthews Band at the Battle of the Bands.
And then they win because Dave Matthews Band is very popular.
Man, that one guy was really excited about it, though. The biggest win was not having the greatest show on earth. It was watching the excitement of that guy's face just drain when everyone wanted School of Rock to come back on. That was the biggest win of the movie.
I love that the encore song, by the way, is the song that Jack Black essentially made up on the spot. Where he's like, I have lots of great material. Let's hear it then, man. So I wrote this in 10 minutes and it's not even finished. Just immediately like backtrack. All right, that's all I got for this. So let's go to a brief commercial break and we'll return for some general discussion.
Ned, Candace from Horace Green wants to know where to send your check.
Who? Hold on. Hello? Uh-oh. Fire! Fire! Ah! Oh my God! Dude, call 911! Call 911! Give me the phone! Give me the phone! Oh! 911!
Yeah,
You got it?
Call them.
You got it?
Oh my gosh! It's up the wires!
Seriously.
Welcome back from that ad break for another ad. Moviepalette.com. Colors. Wood, canvas, movie. Do you like colors or movie strips like the thing behind me? If you do, then you can go to moviepalette.com.
Squad 15.
It is a difficult time in the entertainment industry right now with those fat bag cats in Hollywood trying to suckle up all the titties of the writers and actors' works. If you would like to assist them and stick it to those fat bag cats in Hollywood, please donate to some of the following charities: the Entertainment Community Fund, the Snack List, and Groceries for Writers. Because please remember, those writers and those actors, they were the best of us. And now back to the show.
Son of a bitch.
And now time for general discussion.
I'm gonna get us on track because I want to tell my 2009 story real quick.
Hurry up!
So here's how endlessly appealing this movie is and how endlessly rewatchable this movie is. So in the year 2009, my family and I went on a trip to South Dakota. We were on our way to South Dakota and we brought like a whole ton of DVDs with us. One of them was School of Rock, and we did not start off watching School of Rock. That was maybe the third movie in. And then after a certain point, we treated this movie like a roller coaster. We just did not want to get off the roller coaster that was School of Rock. So for the next 3.5 days of this 5-day trip, we just watched nothing but School of Rock. And then I think it was by time number 49 of watching this f***ing movie, my aunt was like, you know, maybe why don't we put in a different movie? I think we can quote this in our sleep now.
And that's the first time Joe saw Sallow, 120 Days of Sodom.
Oh my God.
In January of 2015, I was institutionalized, right? And the fact that you said how it's infinitely watchable, I agree. School of Rock is infinitely appealing. When I was institutionalized and there was only a limited selection of movies we were allowed to watch, for some godforsaken reason, the rest of the ward I was in chose to watch over and over again The Blind Side. And let me tell you, The Blind Side is an okay movie to watch the first time. By watch through number 3, I was like going to say whatever it took to those nurses to get the out of there because I could not take it anymore. Thank God I eventually convinced them to start watching Back to the Future.
Okay, so you guys want to play the game of what happened to the kids?
Well, one of them died.
Kevin Clark, aka Freddie Jones, played in some bands in his hometown of Chicago and was tragically struck on his bike, killed by an oncoming car. All right, that's the bottom of the pile. Let's start with something simple. Miranda Cosgrove, what happened to her?
She became iCarly.
She's stuck in iCarly land for the rest of her life.
iCarly land and Despicable Me land.
Yep, she did Despicable Me movies, and iCarly was on when we were kids, and now it's back. She's never getting out. All right, Joey Gatus Jr., aka Zach Mooneyham. He released 2 EPs 4 years ago called Calm Weather and Dogtopia. So Zach's still writing music. Good for him, you know?
Hell yeah.
All right, Robert Tsai, aka Lawrence the Keyboard Kid. He went to Dartmouth College, and he still plays classical music. Okay, Caitlin Hale, Blondie, not the craziest character, but she got a degree in journalism from Arizona State and is currently dating the kid who played Frankie.
I thought they were married, actually.
They might be. My info may be old. Miriam Hassan, aka Tamika with the pipes, goes by the name Marinate, and she sings R&B soul music. She released an EP in 2021 called Push, and she released a single in 2022 called Feel Away. Then there's Rivka Reyes, aka Posh Spice.
They
works with Second City in Chicago doing stand-up, and has acted in a couple of Lifetime movies back in like 2020.
They also became a queer icon on TikTok.
And then there's Brian Faldudo, aka Billy the Gay Costume Kid. He graduated from Wagner, the school that served as the exterior for like the school shots in School of Rock. He actually went to that school for college.
Oh, that's funny.
He has a dual degree in theater and arts administration, and he works as a mental health coach who advocates for like LGBTQ kids. He released an album this March called Gay Country. Fun time. And then the last one, Alicia Allen, aka Braceface. She was in the 2 Are We There Yet movies with Ice Cube, and the movie Young Adults, the 2011 movie, and I've got no date on her after that. So, those are the kids. That's what happened.
It's kind of interesting how, like, other than Miranda Cosgrove, none of these kids really continued acting.
I mean, hey, they continued in music, though, so you know what?
No, that's cool. From what I understand, most of them were musicians before they were actors. The casting call for this movie was looking for musicians, not actors. Okay, do you remember how they kick Jack Black out of the band at the beginning and they replace him with another guitarist named Spider?
Yes.
So, he's a very minor actor. He only had a few roles. He's actually more well known for being like Paris Hilton's love interest for the music video Stars Are Blind.
What in f***?
However, he is not best known for being an actor, because nowadays, as of 2018, he's probably best known for being the district attorney of Tyler County, Texas. And when he took office in January of 2019, he actually very quickly rose to prominence the next year because of the fact that he was in fact the very same district attorney that indicted Netflix on child charges for the movie Cuties. Which, by all accounts, was something he did as a career move to try and get into higher office. He is, of course, a member of the Republican Party. Yeah, he went to law school and became a district attorney. By the way, his father, Brian Babin, is a U.S. member of the House of Representatives, representing Texas's 36th district. So his family is actually like a very political family, which makes his appearance in this movie all the funnier.
How did this good old boy get anywhere near School of Rock?
Texas, Linklater.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Jones is in 2 Linklater movies for mostly the same reason. Though in Linklater's defense, when Linklater put Alex Jones in his movies, he was just known as some local crank. I don't think Linklater would have ever anticipated him having a national platform of any kind.
Destroy the child.
I f***ing love his appearance in A Scanner Darkly. It is so goddamn funny.
So funnily enough, I'm going to have 2 movies in a row this month where I talk about just kind of how movies made me feel about filmmaking. I'll talk about how that applies to Mask of the Phantasm next week, but here's how I'll talk about it for School of Rock. So when it gets to the end of that movie and no vacancy wins and watching Jack Black just kind of react to it, it kind of reminded me a little bit of how I was reacting. It involves my current movie out on the festival right now. And I think the kids trying to be like encouraging to Jack Black was something I probably should have heard about a month ago.
Sex Pistols never won anything.
Don't let the man get you down.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you gotta cheer up. We played a kick-ass show.
Because, last month we had her screening for Sheena's Secret. It did not walk away with anything, and it kind of brought me down. And honestly, at the end of the day, I still think we had a really good screening of that movie, and that's really all that's important.
The intro is a reference to the title card from Kenneth Anger's Scorpio Rising, an experimental short that was a huge influence on Scorsese and Nicholas Winding Refn.
Wait, Scorpio, is that the fucking gay guys squirting mustard on each other one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, how do you know about that? Who told you about that?
Pete Timmerman told me about that.
All right, favorite lines, baby, let's go!
I've just been informed that all of your children are missing. So...
That is by far the funniest line of the movie.
I used it as my intro. Lawrence by far has the best line of this movie when Jack Black's asking everyone to insult him, and he just goes,
You're a fat loser and you have body odor.
Speaking of that kid, he actually had a moment where he came up to Linklater in the middle of filming and went, yeah, man, I don't think I'm right for this part. You should cast someone else. Yeah. Which is funny because his character does the same fucking thing in the movie.
Yeah, on the commentary, Linklater's like, and that's how I knew he was right for the role. My favorite line is the roommate being like,
Dewey, I'm not a satanic sex god anymore.
Because everything he says up to that point is so mild. And also, that's Richard Linklater in Maggot Death, or whatever their old band is called.
Yeah, that's
the guy
three
in the
of them
middle.
is Jack Black, Mike White, and Richard Linklater.
Wait, the guy that looks like Doug Walker is
Yeah, that's Richard Linklater, not Doug Walker. I'm sorry. Miranda Cosgrove had to be taught how to sing poorly.
She took like a 50-minute class on singing off key.
I was gonna say, because it's like I remember growing up with iCarly, and she would just release like albums, and I'm like, didn't you sing poorly in School of Rock? What the hell happened? Did you get lessons? It turns out it was just the reverse. She had to get lessons on how to sing terribly.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed this in the movie. I noticed this in my most recent watch through. Whenever Jack Black is himself, his hair is parted to one side, but whenever he's playing Mr. Schneebly, his hair is parted to the other side.
That's not a detail I noticed. You want to know a detail that I did notice?
What?
So I pointed this out in our group chat. The part where they're trying to get into the Battle of the Bands. Jack Black's trying to convince Brett from Pulp Fiction to let them in. And he's like, look at them. They're terminal. You see Freddy's laying down on the ground pretending to be dead. And then he's walking back to the car. He's slowly standing up. And they're like, we're on the bill. They get excited. And it's like, shut up. You're dying, remember? It's like everyone starts like coughing, going back into the car. Freddy just falls right the back down to the ground.
There's always that one homie who takes it too far. Love you, Freddy.
I like how meta the ending credits bit gets.
Yeah, I was having a lot of fun with it, and then when they started breaking the fourth wall, I had a bit more fun with it than I was already having.
It's totally like that's the reward for the people that like stuck around for another like 20 minutes.
In the commentary, Richard Linklater says that anybody who leaves before the credits is over is a bozo, but not just general movie credits, just the credits to School of Rock.
Like, there's actually a very important bit where the roommate's character arc is completed that's only in the credits.
So you're a bozo if you left.
I'm the son of God.
Oh my God, this recording!
Does anyone have anything they want to say before I get my few bits of trivia out?
Shit, do I?
Starbucks, they're everywhere. Okay. Tanner's Trivia Corner. Richard Linklater only agreed to direct if the kids could play their own instruments, which is a big reason why they're musicians first instead of actors. Jack Black was the one that came up with all of the kids' nicknames. That was not in the script, that was all him.
Ooh.
This was back in the era where Led Zeppelin was actually very hesitant to license their music into movies. In order to get Immigrant Song in this movie, Richard Linklater filmed Jack Black begging in front of 1,000 screaming fans, Led Zeppelin, please let us use Immigrant Song. And it worked. What's funny is just that 4 short years later, it became clear that Led Zeppelin would let anyone use their music when Immigrant Song appeared in Shrek 3.
Yeah.
Or Shrek the Third, sorry.
Gotta be proper about it.
Literally the only bad Shrek movie. So in the screenplay, I just want to say this because it's a shame this scene isn't in the movie because it'd be so funny. In the original movie, Dewey Finn was actually supposed to have run over the teacher by accident that he winds up replacing.
Break her leg.
And that's why her leg's broken.
Yep.
But they changed it to her falling in the shower. But God, it would have been so damn funny if she just ran over.
That would add an interesting new level to the movie. I don't know if it'd be as good as the movie we got, but it would be interesting.
So, in the scene where Jack Black is desperately trying to get into the auditions for Battle of the Bands, but they're not included, and Jack Black's character gets frustrated and he throws a chair. But according to the Blu-ray commentary, Jack Black improvised throwing the chair. So the reaction that Miranda Cosgrove has is her genuine reaction. All right, guys, let's move on to final thoughts. We'll start with the monkey that was the best of Austin. We'll start with Austin.
This is a really tightly constructed, truly funny film that is fueled by the one-of-a-kind personality that is Jack Black. If you've got a 10-year-old and you want them to be cool, but not too cool, show them this film. They'll have a great time. Before you know it, they'll be in the YouTube comment section for the Give Me Shelter lyric video saying they were born in the wrong generation.
Very true. I was born in the wrong generation. I post that on Tayo Cruz's music video for Dynamite every day, that I was born in the wrong generation. Joe V, final thoughts on School of Rock?
My final thoughts are this movie's f***ing incredible. It wasn't in South Dakota, but I'm glad I watched this movie for the 50th time in a row. Insert joke about All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. I'm going to start a tour called the Joe Vrenick School of Rock Tour, where we all get in a car with a portable DVD player, and we try to see how many times we can watch School of Rock before we throw the f***ing DVD player out the window. Back to you, Tanner.
And I'll be starting a counter tour where I try to sneak in the DVD for All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 into the portable DVD player instead.
Sabotage!
I got him again, boys! That dog was the best of us. School of Rock is... Starbucks, they're everywhere. School of Rock... It's my favorite Richard Linklater movie. Jack Black is incredible in it. Joan Cusack is incredible in it. The entire cast is incredible. It's tightly directed. It's tightly written. It's such a perfect encapsulation of 2003, being very hilarious and very inspiring. And by God, I will never stop crying when I hear the final Jack Black line of this movie, which is that monkey was the best of us. But do you know who else was the best of us?
Who?
Person watching / listen to this episode of Bam Squad Movie Night.
Starbucks, they're everywhere.
If you're listening to this episode on any of the audio platforms we're on, thank you oh so very much for listening. We really appreciate it. Leave us a review. It'll help boost us in the algorithm or something. If you are watching this on Spotify video, we hope you enjoyed this very special, uncensored edition of Bomb Squad Movie Night. We hope you had a blast. Lord knows we had a lot of fun recording this, so how about you mosey on down over to our Patreon and throw some money at us or something. I think that'd be kind of cool. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you oh so very much for watching. We really appreciate it. Go down to the comment section below and let me know, what do you think of School of Rock? What's your favorite Richard Linklater movie? What's your favorite Jack Black movie? What's your favorite line in School of Rock? And finally, do you agree that that monkey was the best of us?
Oh my God.
The goal was to get to heaven and take it with me. Next week, we are talking about my favorite Batman movie in an episode hosted by Tim M. Sullivan. We are going to be talking about the 1993 movie Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
In 4K!
It should be a lot of fun. It should be a great episode that will hopefully feature less minutes of me laughing deliriously because Austin referenced a YouTube video with under 10,000 views. Thank you again oh so very much for watching, and remember, that monkey was the best of us. Good night!
Oh, god damn it!
I was gonna say, for those about to rock, we salute,
We salute you.
I'm the son of God.
Can we tell our parents?
No!
I slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys.
That monkey was the best of us.